I'd like to call the May 2024 Historic Preservation Commission, Oak Harbor, Washington committee meeting to order, please. Not the roll call? Okay. We're going to begin with approval of the minutes, March 28th, 2024, the regular business meeting.
I vote to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
So I just realized, Sarah and I were talking, that we never gave you guys a cheat sheet on how to do this. We will do that. I apologize. No, yeah, and unfortunately, you know, we have a lot of things going on that end up, you know, kind of taking over priority, and I don't want to say that you guys are low priority. So we will work on that better for next time. Yeah, you're going to be at the top of the list, Greg, this summer, I promise. So yeah, public comment. What you can do is just say, you know, this is the time on the agenda for public comment, seeing that there's nobody in the room, and then you can ask of Sarah or myself if we have any that have been submitted via email or anything like that. So if I will turn it back over to you, but that's kind of generally that, you know, you can follow the agenda to a certain extent, but the actual format and everything is, there's some details there that we'll get to you. Yep.
The meeting is now open to public comment, and as there does not seem to be anybody in attendance, Sarah or Ray, did you have any emails or any public comments from anybody? Close public comment. And as there's no public here, there will be no public hearing. Go ahead and close that. And I would like to open the discussion, action, presentation of the report items.
Okay.
A is to update the informational handouts, and B is concerning Smith Park.
Yes, correct. Thank you. Okay. So we talked last time about priorities. The commission talked about, I believe there are 4 priorities here, and one of them was to do a booth in an upcoming city event, a festival, what have you. We can talk about possibly doing the 4th of July. I think that's kind of the next one as it comes up. We did miss Holland Happening, obviously. There was just not enough time to get that all together. But what we did provide for you, and I think it's attached to your staff report there, is a little flyer. And essentially what that flyer is, it's a third of an 8.5 by 11 page. On the back side is just a piece of a map to kind of give people a little taste of what it would look like on the back side. But essentially we boiled down, and we did this for the first iteration of the HPC, was to kind of boil down what it is we do in just a nice little piece of paper somebody could pick up at one of those type events. And so what we would propose is that this is kind of the basis or the basic kind of information that we could provide at a booth, at a table, what have you, with some additional information like the full-size version of the map that's on the back that shows the entire city instead of just a little snippet. And that snippet's intentional just to kind of get people interested. So that is one of the things that staff has ready to go, essentially. And just kind of ideas as far as, what else it is we might want to have for a booth. We can work through that. What we would need to do is probably communicate via email because the July 4th will be before the next meeting. Communicate via email if there are people amongst you that might want to work at a booth, appear for an hour or so. We're not asking you to be there all day or anything. But we would need to have it staffed in some way. Because we would probably be sharing with another city department, and we don't want to just, pawn it off on them, essentially. So that is one thing that we're looking at doing, trying to get people, interested, visual aids, pictures and things like that. I don't know if anybody here has any pictures of historical buildings in the city of Oak Harbor, but that would be really cool. We've got a bunch going up and down the hall that I want to probably somehow not steal off the walls, but borrow, to do a booth like that. So people can, see something and be interested and come over and look at it. So that is one thing that we are looking at doing, and if we can kind of get a good program going for that, that is something we can do at every future event. And it's just easy. Okay, we're going to get X, Y, and Z here. We're going to put it up. We got an easel, whatever. And then, staffing is the only real issue at that point. So that's kind of where we're at. Like I said, this was one of your priorities that you talked about last time. So I want to make sure that you know that we're working on that. And as kind of the one that's upcoming, time-wise, as far as being a little bit of a crunch. So if you could, I don't know if you have already, just take a look at that little flyer. And like I said, it's just one. It's not the full page. They're all exactly the same. And let me know if you think there's anything that is missing, anything that we should include on there or take off of there, et cetera. We have the names down at the bottom, and those are obviously old. And we will adjust those. We can do one of two things. We can either put your names on there, or we can just leave names off if you don't want to be named. Which is fine and legitimate also. I have no issue with that. But what we can do is say that there are vacancies open, and if people are interested, then please apply for that, because we need people too, not just buildings and places, but people to go through all this stuff. So that's where we're at with that. I just want to keep you updated on that stuff. So,
Do we have to vote on whether we do July 4th or not, or do we just say we're going to do it?
I mean, I would say, I don't think this is a voting situation. I think that what we are going to do as city staff is try our hardest to get you there, and then coordinate between us as staff and you as the members of the commission, volunteers essentially, to either be there if you can or figure out some way that you don't necessarily have to. So that will be what we'll work on in the next few weeks here. So,
And I had a basic question.
sure.
Obviously, what we want to do is try to have people who own the historic buildings apply for, what are we calling it? Apply for
To be on the
being a
registry?
historic.
Yeah.
What about putting together something for building owners?
We could absolutely do that. And the thing is about it, the important thing about that is telling them why, right?
Yeah.
Tax breaks. Everybody loves tax breaks. So the kind of key thing with that, the prestige of being on the Oak Harbor Historic Registry is always at the top of the list, but it's the tax breaks. And so that is really kind of a big deal. And that was one of the other things that was on our priorities list here, was to reach out to the Main Street Association, because that's kind of a concentration, right? And a way that we can get outreach to people quickly as a group. So that is also a thing. But yeah, as far as, we could do another kind of slip of paper like this that would be for building owners. Or include more information in a paragraph. And I don't want to jam too much on there. There is, one or two paragraphs down at the bottom that say what is the benefit. And so if you think that we should have more on there, we can certainly do that.
Well, these guys are business people.
Yeah.
So it's what's in it for me?
Right. Yeah.
I say we come up with something. You have a really nice one that tells you, it gives you good information. The map is almost useless.
Yeah.
Just because it's too confusing.
Yeah.
You take a look at it and this is what I got though out of my black
Yeah.
and white printer.
So, right. And the
Sure,
thing
it's
is,
not as good.
when you get it on color, and we would print these out in color, is they're different color coded. And it, like I said, honestly, it is not intended to be a map of, pick out your place. It's a map of, what neighborhood is this? What am I looking at here? To try and draw you in, really.
Right,
It's
okay.
more of an artistic exercise than anything.
So if we could have one that, what's in it for them,
Yes.
you know, I think that would be very helpful because, I mean, anyone who, you know, who has a historic building anywhere we could use for that.
Yeah.
Not just, you know, historic downtown.
Right.
Then my second part of my first question was, do we need to do it in the guise of one of our meetings? Or can we set something else up with, you know, property owners? Do
So-
we tell them to come to one of our meetings and that's where we hold our forum?
If you are specifically referring to Joe business owner, Joe building owner that has a historic building, and you want to go talk to them, encourage them to apply for inclusion on the Oak Harbor, just go talk to them, you know? And you can tell them, you know, we have meetings, we talk about stuff, you know? You can tell them all that stuff and encourage them to come, and maybe they would be interested in participating in some way. But yeah, if anybody on the board wants to do that, you can certainly do that.
So you guys all might want to join Main Street also. I mean, I'm just going to encourage that for one reason. We all are block captains, so there's 8 of us on the board, and we own two blocks each or 1 block each to go, and we visit the businesses every once in a while. So one of the things I'm going to do is go to during our board meeting, present this stuff and say, hey, let's talk to the building owners during when we do our rounds, because we physically go out to each business and talk to them about this.
If you have regularly scheduled meetings, I would be happy to attend to provide additional information or to stand next to you or whatever we need to do.
Okay.
That will be our coordination, and we'll check off number 4 here on this list. Yeah, but seriously, I mean, the Main Street Association were the ones who kind of got this whole process started. And like I said, a concentration of eligible buildings and something that the community wants to preserve. So it's like win-win-win. And I think we can work together really well.
Now that the president's not somebody who wants to tear down downtown, I think we're golden. By the way, I'm president.
No comment.
All right, I have a couple notes.
Yeah.
First, the way my brain thought about this, you know, what is it? Sure. My next question would be just what is the benefit? So I would honestly move that section to be second before the what does it take,
Okay.
which is minor, but probably not minor. I don't know. And then as for the what does it take section, I think it would be better as a what/how. Because when I read it, I was like, oh, and here's how you do it. No, it's just you have to submit paperwork, and then several groups have to like look it over or whatever.
Yeah.
This is really missing like a literal direct QR to the place with the form
There you go.
in the
Yep.
what/how section.
Yeah.
There's a link at the end, but that doesn't tell you directly anything. It tells you how to go to the Oak Harbor website, and then what? You have to find it.
Yeah.
Ugh. So yeah, QR would help. And less the, I'm gonna call it boring aspect of submitting photos and all that.
That's not part of it, is it? It's just this sheet.
So, yeah, what we had, there were 2 different formats that we were experimenting with, I think. I think we settled on that third, that strip. And like I said, what you're seeing there is 3 of them. They're all the same.
I know it's supposed to be like a mystery, but I got nothing on mine. And it'd be nice if it was either really obvious or even answer the mystery at the very bottom. Where is
Sure.
this?
Okay. Yeah, we
Like they
can
might
do
not
that.
even think it's Oak Harbor,
We'll
technically.
make it into a game. We'll make it into a puzzle.
Yeah, as long as you write it upside down on the bottom, that's how puzzles work, right?
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
In reference to updating the informational handouts, I actually found through Skagit Valley College, they have a kind of like an internship through their graphic design, where they would go ahead and they would look at our website and our pamphlets and update this. I just have to contact them. I wanted to make sure that was okay. I thought that'd be something neat. I kind of thought we had discussed that maybe with Western, but I thought it would be nice to keep it local, and they could do that
So-
relatively soon.
The website we
And this
can't,
pamphlet.
we can't do anything with because we are contracted through a
Okay.
company to do that. However, that being said, if they want to make my design better, I am not a graphic artist, and I
Oh,
have
no, it's
no,
pretty
no
good that I
qualm
do.
with somebody coming in and fixing it. So if that's something that you want to coordinate with them, we would probably need to have some sort of official discussion because it's a city thing. But if you want to reach out to them and have them contact myself,
Yes,
we
that'd be
could, we
great.
could certainly coordinate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have any thoughts on it?
I agree with what Nick was saying. Maybe use like street view instead of the imagery, so you could see
Yeah.
what streets are.
I
Or
have a
name, but-
few photos on my computer of historic buildings. We could just put on there just a picture of something and
Okay.
say, what is this, you know?
I was talking about like the background for the map instead of the imagery,
Okay.
having
yeah.
it be like streets, just because it'd
Sure.
be easier
Yeah.
to read. But
We have
other
lots
than
of
all-
options, I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
All the information's there.
Yeah.
It works great.
I think you got a better image than mine. Mine doesn't even have water as like a location. So I'm just like, all right, streets.
It's supposed to be a mystery. Yeah, we'll fix that. We'll make it better. Like I said, I don't have any qualms about having somebody come in and critique and make it better, so we can do that. Okay, so those were, again, two of the four priority list things here. I was gone last week, had a family emergency, so I wasn't able to coordinate with Sarah, but she did a really good job putting this agenda together without me, so kudos. What I would like to talk about under item A there is also the rest of that priority list. So I just want to make sure that we're all updated on that, and then we'll move on to the Smith Park thing. So we talked about grants, and I have not had an opportunity to work on that yet, and that is one of my goals for this next few weeks here is to start looking into that stuff. And then the kind of semi-related part of that was the possibility of utilizing Western Washington students to assist with a property inventory. And that is also something I've not done. We talked to Western Washington about doing some planning-related stuff for our comp plan, and they are going to be working with us, and that is very kind of specific. This might be a little bit different path, but I will get in touch with the person that we coordinate with at Western Washington for the other thing and see if they have, kind of a similar program or if they could just assign somebody out to that. So that I will work on as well. It's getting to be summertime and people are probably looking for stuff to do, so it would be a good time to do that. So I just want to make sure you're all updated on that for our priorities list. But like I said, I want to make sure that we got the kind of immediate one out of the way, and we'll be hopefully ready for the 4th of July so we can do something with that too. So we will coordinate on our side with other city staff as far as getting a table or something done.
Question for anyone: 4th of July parade actually on 4th of July, or not like a weekend in front of it or before it?
That's a good question.
Is it a multi-day festival, or is it just one day?
It's a chamber thing.
Because July 4th, like middle of the week, right? This year, somewhere.
You're right. Yeah, I believe it's like a Wednesday or something like that.
I think you're right. Yeah.
The 4th through the 7th. The carnival is the 4th through the 7th. So, is there a specific day in there? Or is it street fair? It looks like a street fair every day.
Yeah, carnival, they're having a carnival from the 3rd through the 7th,
Yes.
Well,
and when's the
What-
parade is on the 4th.
and the days of the 3rd to 7th is Wednesday to Sunday, or
Yes.
okay.
And then fireworks is also on the 4th.
Yeah.
According to the website.
Can we get fireworks to say, register your house?
I think that's a drone show. It's like modern.
If we were to do the 4th of July, is the booth set up the entire time, the 3rd through the 7th?
That's what I would need to figure out, because I don't think it's something I want to just leave behind. And I don't know if they would even allow that.
Typically, you reserve it for we'll look at the application.
Yeah, we'll see what we need to do.
And we have to decide that for this meeting because we're not meeting again until, and after the 4th.
What I will suggest is staff will work on that and, like I said, try our hardest to get something firmed up within the next couple weeks and be back to you on an informal basis to set up any potential volunteering opportunities. Let's put it that way. Unfortunately, because we only meet once a month, we kind of run into that, or once every 2 months, we kind of run into that situation. And if I had more time, we would probably be in a better place, but we are here and we'll try and get it done, so.
I don't think booth reservations have become available yet, so we just don't even have all the information now, but we can communicate via email to try and coordinate how and where, who would like to be there.
And you also figure out if other organizations in City Hall want to share a booth?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, if we are done with item A there, I'll move us on to item B. The Smith Park, park itself, we believe would be a good nominee for a spot on the registry. It is a city-owned property. We don't have to coordinate with anybody, and it's not subject to taxes, so we don't have to worry about in the future even having to administer it, really. So it's kind of an obvious choice. We did the same thing with the Neal Tower previously. It was a pretty simple process, but it did help that version of the commission kind of go through the process and see it in a low-pressure situation. So that is kind of our thought process with that, and I think that with coordination of the Parks Department and the Gary Oaks Society and other people who have, kind of a stake in that park, that it would be a pretty good, kind of a feel-good thing to do and kind of kick us off as far as, doing actual action stuff. So I invite your thoughts on that, but I think that's the direction we're going to go, that we as the city are the applicant, and we will come to you and present that to you. And like I said, be able to go through the process. You'll have a little learning experience, and then we'll be able to, have something to add on there so we don't just have one thing on the historic registry. So,
I'm all
comments?
for Smith Park. I think it should have been done a long time ago. I'm all for it. What do we have to do to get it going? What's taking so long?
Tell me yay or nay, and I will do it.
Yay.
Okay.
Yay. I would love to move forward on that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it was, if the original version of the HPC had continued forward and we hadn't had COVID and everything, it would have been done. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it was voted on July 26, 2023 to be added under Bob Severance when the commission wasn't together.
Yeah.
It ended up getting nominated through the State Heritage Register by the Gary Oaks Society. So, yeah, I mean, there's total slam dunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and it's a very good, feel-good.
So you've been through the
Action.
process. Can you just go, tell us kind of what general overview of what the process is?
Yeah, so let's see, for the Washington Heritage Register, it was a form, and it was nominated as local significance, so it could be local, I think, state or national significance. There are 4 different criteria, and this was nominated as being, I don't recall, but it's either like good architecture, which doesn't count for this, associated with, I'm guessing, people, because it was the meeting place for the city from like 1905 and until really even presently, in the stand of Gary Oaks, which is why the Gary Oaks Society was involved. They sent it to DAP. Michael Hauser, who's the keeper of the National Register, and he continually kicked it back to us saying we needed to nominate it at our local register in order to get a state register nomination. So Kyle Reniger presented to council, and council voted on it. Since we're a committee or commission, we make a recommendation to council, then council are the ones who make the ultimate decision. And I believe they may have put a plaque up there. It was installed within a few weeks. So it's going to be right next to the kiosk. So it's a really, really good project.
Yeah, I think the process is working a little bit backwards. We're in a circle in this situation. City council is already obviously in favor of it. So what we would do is our presentation talks about, like Gideon was saying, there's different criteria or different categories. But the kind of place of significance is really what it comes down to. They don't have to have a historic building to be a historic location. So.
Thank you for that information, because I didn't know that it was met there so long ago as City Hall meetings. And I was going to ask, like, why Smith Park instead of the other ones I actually know more about? And I wondered if it was just because it's close to downtown. Oh, no, because it was basically downtown, almost, in a sense.
Yeah.
That's a good reason.
Yeah. So what we'll do is plan on getting an application to you probably next month, or next meeting, for inclusion on the Oak Harbor Registry of Historic Places. So we'll go through that process. And what we can do in advance of that is we'll, number one, get you the rules of order for the meeting, but we'll also give you kind of an overview of the process and everything for that inclusion. When you conduct your meeting, you'll know what to look for, essentially. So that'll be in the that'll be in the staff report packet or your agenda packet. So you'll have kind of two different things. You'll have what it is you're looking for, and you'll have the actual staff report. So that's all I have for you today. Is there anything going to number 6 there? I won't usurp the chair's authority here. So item number 6.
Is there any other member comments? I know I have some. I've been waiting, but I would love to offer the floor to somebody else first. Gideon?
Yeah, I just have one. So the Historical Society, every Wednesday, starting in June until August at 3 o'clock, are going to be porch stories. It's free. And so if you're in Coupeville, at the Coupeville Museum, it's about a variety of subjects, everything from haunted ships to the Navy's presence here to tribal history and whatnot, but something to hit up.
Thank you.
The July 4th booths, looks like they go from the 4th through the 6th based on the website. The other thing is I'm still a little lost on what kind of grants we can go after. And do we have a grant writer?
We do.
And so we would, if we wanted to go after a grant, we would just specify which one and why, and we
Yeah,
could
and
work with the grant, somebody within the city then?
Yeah, what I can do, we'll get it on the agenda, so I can't push it off any further. We'll put it on the agenda for July, and what I'll do in between now and then is look to see what grants are available, And I will get in touch with our grants specialist and coordinate with her how we need to, acquire them, essentially. And we'll make a presentation on that, see what's available, see if there's anything that you in particular want to, look at going for. To be perfectly honest, I think that her attitude, and I think the city's attitude overall, is if it's available and we qualify it, we apply for it. Like, why not? Free money, right? So, yeah, if there's anything out there, if you know of anything, if anybody knows of anything, let us know. But we'll do the research on this end, because usually they're kind of in a centralized location, DAP or somebody has those grants listed. And so we can look those up. But if you've heard of anything, there's also private companies that do grants and stuff too. So
I do have information on one grant, and I guess I don't have it from where it's from. I sworn it was through you guys or the city, but it referred to the model ordinance, and I actually had a suggestion, reconstructing the windmill. If the grant is for a reconstructed building when accurately executed in a suitable environment and presented in a dignified manner as part of a restoration master plan, and when no other building or structure with the same association has survived. And I found that I do a lot of research. That's something I thought that we could do, because there is a grant for restructuring buildings, or actually structures. I thought that would be great. We could actually request that. There are quite a few grants out there. That's one that I saw, was restructuring a building. I do also have a couple of other suggestions for places that I thought that we could possibly think about in the future. The Roller Barn, which I've already emailed them twice. They have not responded. I don't know if they're getting my emails back, but they absolutely, I think it'd be great to take advantage of the historic tax credit. I think that they should, the Roller Barn. I didn't know that they had rock and roll concerts there. Back to the Drifters perform there on Saturday nights. That's why they continue to have rock and roll bands there. I think we did the Neil Tower. I think that's a given. Would-be Playhouse. Don't really know. Anybody have any ideas about that? And also Alt Holland Inn, 42 years old, but criteria for determining designation in the registrar is any building, structure, site, object, or district may be designated for inclusion in the Oak Harbor Register if it is significantly associated with the history, architecture, archaeology, engineering, or cultural heritage of the community, if it has integrity, is at least 50 years old, or is of lesser age and has exceptional importance, and if it falls in at least one of the following categories. Those are any suggestions on those?
Have you thought about the Jones Building?
What's the Jones Building?
What are they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kathy Jones Accounting. Yeah, that's a really cool
Who no
building.
longer owns it?
Okay, it's on Dock Street, I believe.
Yeah, it's on Dock Street.
is it the one just down from Fraser's?
Right.
There are tons of buildings around, right? That could be on there. So
And that
contact
street's
owners.
not Main Street. That street's not Main Street, where Fraser's is.
Well, it's part of the main street.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you know of building owners, even single-family residences, we do have one building that is on the National Register here, which my understanding really streamlines it, and that's the what's the name? It's the Onion Dome house that's over at Swantown.
Ben,
High. Yeah.
Ben
So,
something.
and I actually talked to somebody who was looking at developing the rest of that portion of the property there. And I said, you're not going to do anything with the Onion Dome house? And they said, no, we want to renovate it because it's kind of rough. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot out there. It's just a matter, and unfortunately, we don't have the resources to just go knocking on doors and saying, hey, do you want to be on this? So people have to want to do it. And if they don't know about it, they can't want to do it. So that's really the key right now, I think, is to get that information out there. Yeah.
Earlier, thank you, Greg, for bringing up the question on if we even had like a grant writer, because that was kind of my question too. I wanted to know the strength of the staff here to do things. Like, it's obviously not just the two people in the room here. There's other people who work on it too. Because when it came to grants, our presentation in January we met. I mean, those grants were by mid-April, so we missed that main one, whatever it was, which I know disappointed me, but like as a commission member, I'm not sure how much I can, not remind, but like, I could probably have filled out a grant in March or something. I just didn't know. We were like, oh, we'll wait till the March meeting, and then the March meeting, it didn't really get done. And now it's May, so we know we missed out on something that should have been easily to get. So I want to know how many people work on it, like how strong. Is it likely that things we come up with might actually get done?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, we're kind of, right now it is kind of just the two of us, but we do have other people that can help out. And with, kind of with the priority list that we have, we're going to start focusing on this more, in a stronger sort of way. So my apologies, I was trying to get some of that stuff done, but unfortunately there were kind of other things that came up as well. But we'll be focusing more on it as we move through this. There's a lot of work to be done, but we have the people to do it, so.
I have no more member comments.
So back to the 4th of July. I'm assuming you have all the equipment, the tent, whatever we need. What do
We'll
you call
figure it out.
The gazebo, you'll figure it out?
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We do have stuff like that, so.
Do we have funds to maybe get stickers printed, or just funds for this, something to
I
have
probably
to pass out?
probably just the flyers at this
Okay.
point, but who knows? We'll see what we can do. We do have a small budget to do things with, so, yeah.
Bags of candy.
Candy throw kids.
Only historical candy. Like, my wife really likes the Necco wafers. You only find the stuff that's really old and just doesn't taste good.
Werther's original.
Werther's, yeah, exactly.
Spam sandwiches. Who could we use to take a stab at corrections, or maybe how we want this organized?
So what I would suggest is, I took some notes on here. We will work on that portion as staff. If you have somebody, Kelly, at the college, if you can get them in touch with me in some way.
Yes, it's an interest, yeah, it's great.
Or Sarah. And, if they have somebody who's a graphic design person and wants some, work to do, to make it pretty, we can work on the text. I think we kind of have to keep that. But as far as the looks of it are concerned, we can certainly turn that over to somebody else.
Any more member comments? Okay, so our next scheduled meeting date is July 25th.
I'd move to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
All vote to adjourn?
Yeah.
Adjourn.
Staff can vote for the adjournment part too.